And a massive wildfires prompting evacuations in Northern California. The park fires burning near Chico. So far, the fires scorched more than 6,000 acres. Smoke from the fire and several others in the region has also triggered air quality concerns. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee is there in California. Ginger, let's start with that wildfire in Northern California near Chico. What's the latest on that?
Yes, and actually that number has skyrocketed. As of 3 p.m. yesterday, it was around 6,500 acres. Now, more than 45,000 acres, Diane. And so it is just exploding in size, and it's only 3% contained. There are definitely evacuations. We've seen some chatter about people that were stuck potentially in cars. We've got this video here that really showcases how quickly it's burning. I mean, you'd have to burn some 2,000 acres per hour in that time to achieve the numbers it has. And watch this video where you see that propane tank likely next to a home explode. And so there's a lot of threats happening at this moment, and we're going to be, of course, watching not just the park fire, but there are 88 large active wildfires across the American West. So the smoke, yes, going to be a problem, not just there in Chico in Northern California, but Boise, Idaho had some really difficult air quality. And this is the kind that makes it to the surface and makes it difficult for people, especially that have any sensitivities to it, but for everybody else too. It's that thick. And you'll see that type of smoke even from the Canadian fires, of which there are more than 1,000 right now, all the way down into Minnesota and Iowa. Now, one elevated risk area today we really want to watch is that they're in Idaho, Montana, far northwestern Wyoming, because they're seeing dry lightning. So dry thunderstorms, meaning that the rain doesn't make it to the ground, but the lightning can, which can spark more fires, and the winds. Missoula, Montana had a wind gust of 109 miles per hour with one of those dry thunderstorms just yesterday. So watch for that, because that can flame some of the and fuel even more the fires. And then the heat. That high pressure system that's been kind of plaguing the Northwest, Northern Rockies, it's expanding even farther east into the western plains like Nebraska, the high plains there of South Dakota. Going to see it flirting with a record today in Denver at around 99. So we're going to stick with that heat and just really difficult conditions for so many western states. Diane.
Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee, thank you. And as these wildfires rage, let's get an update from those on the ground. Rick Carhart of CAL FIRE joins us now. He's in Butte County where these fires are burning right now. Rick, these pictures coming out throughout the morning, they're almost hard to believe. What are you seeing there right now in terms of progress?
Well, what we're seeing right now is some really dynamic fire activity, even throughout the night. So quite often, nighttime will bring a decrease in the fire activity. That was not necessarily the case with this fire. So the problem is we've had temperatures between 100 and 110 degrees for the past 3 weeks every single day. So it is just very, very hot. It's bone dry, and pretty much every spark that hits the ground is going to turn into a fire. And so those are the conditions we're dealing with right now.
So how does this fire compare to some of the others you've seen? Because I know you're experienced here, but how concerned are you right now?
Well, we're quite concerned because this there are a couple of different communities within our county that are that are being affected and that are potentially going to be very much affected. And so the fire is currently moving in and around the area of the community of Cohasset, which hasn't really seen much, if any, major fire activity in more than 20 years. And so there's that 20 years of vegetation, grass, brush growth that is all just fuel to feed that fire.
What are some of the biggest challenges you're facing now as you try to get this fire under control?
Well, again, just because of the dryness and the heat that we're dealing with. So it's difficult conditions to work in. The terrain, there's some very, very steep terrain that we're also dealing with. So access itself is an issue. There are a lot of places on this fire where we cannot just drive a fire engine up to and grab a hose and pull it off of the engine. So we're having to make access and just hike up and down very steep hills. And so we're relying on our hand crews, and we're relying on our air resources to deal with the fire in those places.
So how big are the evacuations here so far, and do you expect to have to issue more?
So the Butte County Sheriff is in charge of calling for those evacuations, and the latest number that I heard is that about 3,800 people are affected by evacuation orders or warnings in Butte County. Whether there will be more, it's just depends on what the fire activity does. If it continues moving toward populated areas, then yeah, we'll work with the local sheriff's office and have to issue more evacuations. We're hoping that doesn't happen, but that is always a concern. It's always a possibility.
All right, Rick Carhart, we appreciate your time today. I know it's a busy one. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.